hello. Tonight I've got a great pleasure to introduce to you Rachel Ashcroft, who is the CEO of Color Your World. Welcome, Rachel.
Hello, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for being my guest tonight. I'm always very excited, but I'm also very excited obviously to speak to you because Color Your World is a fantastic business that you have got, and you have got incredible mission. But before we get into this, I wanted to hear a little bit about your journey to mindfulness, because I feel like mindfulness is something that's very trendy right now and everyone talks about it. But I know the journey has been way longer than this has been trendy. So I just wanted to hear about how did you start and what did you learn?
Okay, yeah, you're absolutely right. I feel like all of a sudden mindfulness is kind of everywhere. But my start with mindfulness was, before I realised that it was mindfulness, was really sort of back when I finished university and I graduated and I got given a book, and it was all about the power of your thoughts and visualisation and really believing and visualising something that you wanted to attract into your life. So for me, that's something that I've kind of been doing really for, well, quite a while now. And it's just something that I've kind of been developing over time. Just knowing how important your thoughts are and really trying to manifest, different things that you feel you want in your life, really. So for me, mindfulness started way back then, in terms of becoming more centered and more calm.
You mentioned the word manifestation. For someone who is perhaps new to mindfulness, what does it mean to be able to visualize something and then to manifest it? Can you explain a little bit more and maybe give me an example of something that you managed to imagine and then manifest it?
Okay, yep. So I mentioned earlier that I got a book, and the book was all about visualizing, so seeing in your mind's eye something that you want to attract into your life, and not only visualizing it but really believing that you've already got it. Something that I learned along the way is that that's not really enough. You've got to then start to put in the action that goes alongside the thing that you want to bring into your life. There's no good saying in your mind, I really, really want a new car, and then just sitting and waiting for it and hoping to goodness that it happens. You've then got to start putting things into motion as well. So to manifest something is to bring something into your life through seeing it and believing it and feeling it, and then taking the appropriate steps, the daily action to bring it into your life. Something that I managed to do that with, I've done it with several things. One of them was, I did want a new car, so I visualized myself holding the wheel and I saw the whole car, and then out of nowhere my car that I had at the time failed miserably on its MOT, and so things started to happen and I had to then put things into place to bring the car that I wanted was now there. Teaching was another thing that I really, really wanted. So again, I saw myself doing it, even though I didn't actually at the time believe I was clever enough to be a teacher. I knew that I wanted to help and support people. So I saw myself doing it. I believed I could do it. And I just kept chipping away and just kept doing the daily action that I needed to do. And then it happened. So it is really just thinking about it and going for it and not doubting yourself either, just really just powering through and taking those little daily steps to bring things to you.
Wow, you really mastered, I think, the art of manifestation.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, I think, if you can think about wanting a new car and then making it happen, or think about your dream career and then making it happen, I think that's pretty good. But did it bring any challenges with the mastery of the skill?
First of all, I think that anyone can do it. I don't think it's necessarily something that only certain people can manage to do. I think you've just got to have that right mindset and truly believe that you can do something. I think if you're quick to dismiss things or just hope that something's going to happen or turn up on your doorstep, I really don't think that's the way to go. And of course, there are challenges because some things are more difficult to achieve or to get to, and they might take that little bit longer, and that's where some people might be put off. But really just believing that you can do it and continuing that little step every day and not listening to people. I suppose the challenge would be other people thinking that you can't do it, or just like putting that little thought in your mind that oh, maybe I can't, that little seed of doubt. And it's about quickly dismissing that, because your journey is obviously personal to you and there's only you going on that path. So no matter what anybody else says, you are focusing on you and your journey and not what other people believe your journey to be.
Absolutely. I think that's so important because like we get so influenced by everyone around us, and like you can put so much doubt in your head just because someone else perhaps doesn't believe in their ability to make something happen or to achieve something. Like they, you know, if they can't do it, and why would you be able to do this? And then you kind of start doubting yourself.
Exactly.
I know. What about, so you manifested your dream career in teaching. So what led you to setting up your Color Your World business?
Okay. I did manifest my dream career, which I love and still love. I love the teaching profession. However, it is the most grueling profession to be a part of. And I found that over time, I was teaching for several years, and I just found that over time, it was not only changing me, but changing how I perceived myself and what I felt I was capable of doing, because it was becoming overwhelming, for want of a better word, and I was starting to really struggle. And it was one day that I realised, as I was like sort of on the verge of a panic attack in the classroom. Really, I just thought, I'm not serving these children in the best way anymore. So it's not only me that's suffering now, it's now having a knock-on effect on the children, who I don't feel like I can meet their emotional needs as they're coming in the morning, because I'm just trying to get myself through the day. So that's really when I decided that enough is enough, and I made the really hard decision to come away and to do a little bit of soul searching. And that is exactly what I did. I literally sat down one evening and I wrote me in the centre of a piece of paper, and I just wrote down around it everything that I felt like I could do, and everything that I would love to do. What would I get up in the morning and feel lit up by? And mindfulness in that sense kind of found me, because I'd never really heard of mindfulness in that sort of way. And so it wasn't until I really looked at myself and then looked at, okay, well, what matches this? What can I do with this? That I found mindfulness to be the next route, really. And that's where everything just exploded and literally lit me up. And the journey started from there, really. I retrained, and my passion was to go back into school and help the children, help the teachers, because I thought if I'd have maybe had that support in that way, if I'd have known about breathing, things might have been a little bit different, and I might not have come away from the profession. So my aim really at the minute is to go back and support teachers and children through mindfulness and meditation.
I think that sounds really wonderful, because I think teaching, but not just teaching, so many professions where people get to the point like yourself where it becomes so overwhelming and there's so much pressure that then it comes to a point where it's too late and you want to step away, where in actual fact, you know, that is your passion. You got into that profession for a reason, but then you feel like you've reached a point where it's gone too far and then you're stepping away. So, you know, if there are people like yourself who can help to prevent others to get to that point and actually being able to manage it in a better way, and continue to be happy with the profession and continue to look after themselves as well as serving others. That's fantastic. So tell me, who do you work with now? How do you help them?
So at the minute, I keep myself very open in terms of opportunity and where I feel like I'm being guided. But the place where I feel really passionate is obviously within school. I want to get back into school, which I do. I go into schools, I do run workshops with children, I do a lot of teacher training, so I teach them how to use mindfulness within the classroom in a manageable way, coming from a teacher point of view. And I work with people who are currently unemployed, building their confidence, self-esteem, and just showing them sort of a different route. So yeah, like I said, I'm keeping it very open in terms of the people that I work with. I work with a few people one-to-one, and teenagers as well. I'm really passionate about supporting teenagers just because of the mental health crisis that we're obviously facing at the moment. So I go into secondary school settings, do talks to year groups and that kind of thing. So I think the key is to for me is to just keep that open and see who comes to me, really, rather than me sort of approaching. That's been my technique so far.
I think that's really great, and I think, like I said, it's not just teaching. So many other professions that could benefit from what you're doing, and I really love what you're doing. You know, with the focus on children and also teenagers, because I feel like it's so important, and in a lot of ways, like I wouldn't want to be a teenager again now. Being a teenager now, I feel so much harder than when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
so much more pressure, and there's so much higher expectations from the society, but also people putting on themselves. I think it's really challenging to actually, you know, getting people like yourself to be able to help them. I think it's invaluable. So that sounds really fantastic.
Thank you.
So tell me, like, if people are in a position like you were before you set up your business and started to help others, if they're in a position where they feel like, you know, they're getting to a point where they're really overwhelmed or really stressed, and they know that they need to change something, but, you know, they don't know how, they don't know what they need to do. So obviously you sat down with a piece of paper, wrote me on it, and started working on yourself, but you already kind of knew a little bit about how to look deeper within yourself, and, you know, and find your way, and that's how we started the journey. But for people that maybe are getting to that point and don't know what to do, what would you recommend? What would be helpful?
First of all, I wouldn't recommend for everybody to do what I did and just jump ship and just get away, because jumping ship doesn't pay the bills. But what I would suggest is finding a way within the working day to reduce stress. And for me, deep breathing is the best thing. So just to spend 2 minutes inhaling through your nose, breathing into your tummy. I call it inflating your belly balloon for the children. So inflating your belly and then exhaling through your mouth for 2 minutes, like, does so much for you in terms of reducing your stress. And I think really just finding what makes you feel good. So to do something for 20 minutes every single day, whether it be walking the dog or having a bath or reading a book, just doing something for yourself every single day for 20 minutes to really make you feel good and get those endorphins kind of going. But yeah, I mean, again, it's about setting goals as well. And I think people shouldn't feel like they're stuck. And even if they might be in a job that they can't just jump out of straight away, setting a goal for something that might, in time, develop into something else, or having something on the side as a hobby that really just lights them up, would probably be a good start as well. Not feeling trapped or stuck, and reaching out, just speaking to people for that support. You know, we can't all just conquer the world on our own. We are a team, and I think that's really important. And for me, it was invaluable.
Absolutely. I really love the inflating your tummy. That's going to stay with me for a long time. But I think it's so important, you know, when we talk about breathing, like, I feel like as a, you know, society, we've learned how to be more productive, how to work faster, how to be more efficient.
Speed. Yeah,
we kind of forgot about the basic things, like breathing can be so powerful. But it's almost, we don't pay as much attention to it as we pay to our productivity or being able to achieve the next goal and so on. But actually, without being able to do this, you might not be able to achieve the next goal, because you'll burn out or be feeling overwhelmed before you get there. So I really love what you're doing, and the techniques that you just shared and the tips that you just shared. I think the great thing is they're so practical. Anyone can apply them. You don't need to wait until tomorrow. You can start today. And, you can get on that journey, and I totally agree. No one is going to conquer the world on their own. It is all about talking and sharing. A lot of the chances are, if one person feels like this, there are more people out there that feel exactly the same. Together we can help each other so much more.
It's true.
So my last question, what's your ultimate vision and mission? What's going to be happening?
I'll be completely honest. When I started this journey, I didn't even see it getting to this point, and the things that are kind of changing over a really short space of time for me at the minute is quite extreme. So I don't really have a huge, great big vision at the moment, because I'm keeping myself, like I mentioned earlier, I'm keeping myself very open to opportunity and seeing where my heart takes me, really. But I would like to see the company expand. I'd like to get in front of as many teenagers as I possibly can, help as many teachers as I possibly can, and children, and anyone really. You know, that sounds like I'm just specifically focusing in on schools, but that's where my heart is. And yeah, I'd like to see that sort of expand a little bit more over time. So yeah, I guess that's the goal, the next step.
I really love this, because I think sometimes when people get into business, or when they start on a brand new journey, when they're changing their careers or so on, they feel under pressure to have a 5, 10, 50-year vision of, I'm going to take over the world. But in fact, very often it isn't like that at all. It's about starting the journey, learning, taking your first steps. Like, you learn how to walk before you run. And as you're exploring and experimenting, you're learning what feels good, what doesn't feel good, what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy. And then that leads you to building a vision and your ultimate mission. So I think actually what you have just talked about, I think it's a fantastic example for a lot of people not to feel under pressure of, I woke up today and I don't have that vision of being, top of the tree and being leader of the country or something like this. That's absolutely fine. You don't have to. Yeah. You can just take the journey as it comes and feel take it as an exploration, rather than this is where I need to be and I need to be in that period of time, because actually it's fun. Absolutely. And sometimes having that fixed point that you get fixated on makes you miss the great stuff on the way. Perhaps didn't expect to experience. So I think that's really wonderful.
Yeah, I think a great piece of advice I was given quite early on was just stick to what I feel aligned to. And if it doesn't quite feel right, step away. So yeah, just going with what feels good and what works for me has been pretty good so far.
Oh, that's amazing. I really love this advice, and I truly believe in that too. I believe in everyone finding their own journeys and alignment, and not feeling like they should be following someone else's path or doing something other people are doing and so on, because like the whole point in everyone being unique is to bring your uniqueness out, not to make copies of what is. What's the fun in that? Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nina.
It's a great pleasure to chat to you, and so many helpful tools, so many helpful techniques, and I'm sure a lot of people will watch it and will use what you have just shared with them, because there's so much value in it. It's been fabulous talking to you. And
thank you, Nina.
Bye.
Bye-bye.